fence can't be sprayed. I've heard a lot of that. You know,
They made a mistake. The fuel guys.
Wow.
I'll take that. I mean, go ahead and just.
Lots have to be exactly the same size. It just means they can't put 1 acre lots against 1 acre
I
lots.
can't overrule.
Got another
I
one
work,
with Tim.
I work from 6 to. Oh, I think.
No,
Good morning. Just a quick announcement. Traffic was a little heavy out there, so I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes to trickle in.
I was in your office showing somebody this morning. Radium thing. Do you have your? Can I show? Oh, I made a rubber button. Oh my God. I'm gonna make one for the next one. Oh, it was incredible. Full bottle of rum. Mr. Hall, you look very handsome for that.
November 1st. Planning Commission is November.
In my house, they did everything. I'm still putting the money. They told me I have to have not like a snap-on say. It has to be. Yeah. And I might get some presents. But I'm not allowed to do it. I am, but they said that I will get audited. It doesn't matter if you get audited, it doesn't cost you anything, you just show the records. But he said, don't miss a period on your records.
It'll be good.
But yeah, I'm still. One I've been into, I mean, that would be the last spot. Not for like.
Jesus. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the October 15th Technical Review Committee for Walton County. Before we get going here, I was made aware that Mr. Fred Tricker passed, and what? That's my understanding. There was apparently some Facebook posts, and then I heard from our administrator that that was the case. So I just, wanted to, I don't know, have a moment, I guess, so like him or not. He was a very caring individual in terms of the county, and he did some good work, or attempted to do that for his community. So let's go ahead and just give a few seconds of quietude here for his memory, and then we'll proceed. And Mr. Hall's sigh kind of says it all here. But we will go ahead and proceed. Thank you all again for being here and for giving us a few moments of quiet. The first item on the agenda are the minutes from October 1. Have you all had a chance to review those? Okay. If I could have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Karen, I'll get these signed after. We have, it looks like, 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 items, that's items 2, 3, 4, 5. Alpers Abandonment, GNS Glass, Leisure Lane, Bed and Breakfast, LBC Properties on Highway 3031 respectively. They all have a request to continue to November 5th. Could I have a motion to that effect, please?
Motion to continue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Items 2, 3, 4, and 5 have been continued to the November 5th TRC meeting in this location. Looks like item number 6.
Morning.
Morning.
Item number 6, this is the Tucker Bayou PUD. It's a request to approve by final order. It's project number MAJ 25-000054. This is a major development application submitted by Interlight Engineering Corporation on behalf of Tucker Bayou Investments. They're requesting to develop 47 single-family lots, civic, recreational, and associated infrastructure on 21.32 plus or minus acres. The project site has a future land use of residential and mixed use and conservation residential, and a zoning district of traditional neighborhood development, neighborhood infill, and conservation residential 1 to 2.5. Property is in District 5 and located north of Dog Hobble Lane, east of North County Highway 395, and it's adjacent to the Point Washington neighborhood planning area. It can be identified by the parcel numbers in your staff report. If you would please enter the staff report into the record.
So enter.
This is actually the PUD that is following the conceptual approval, which is scheduled for the end of the month, the first reading of the ordinance, the end of this month. This aligns with that. There are still a number of comments, I think heavy on the engineering. I think Andrea has spoke to the applicant on that. We are still waiting for a number of items to be submitted, which will include the lot reconfiguration with the conservation lot along the bay. We're waiting for covenants and restrictions and a landscape plan at this time. The planning comments, other than that, are pretty minor. We did discuss the sidewalk. I think me and Andrea had some questions about the sidewalk, the width, and the material, because that was one of the deviations they were requesting. It is not a concrete sidewalk, so it is gravel, I think. mulch, so we did have questions on the width, however. If there was anything else. And the other comment I wanted to make, some of the civic and recreational uses, since that was part of the mixed use, are required to be public, so I did want the applicant to touch on that a little bit. I don't have any other questions or comments unless you have any for me.
Any questions for staff? Okay, thank you, Rosanna.
Thank you, Rosanna, and good morning. I'm David Smith with Interlight Engineering, and I won't repeat a lot of what Rosanna said, but we are a technical phase of a conceptual PUD, and it was approved by the special magistrate, as Rosanna mentioned, goes before the board for adoption on the 28th. So the comments, we are almost finished addressing those. I did speak to Andrea about hers. I know we agreed there was nothing of major substance. There was one we're discussing, which we have resolved, so we'll have that to you as well. And as far as the sidewalk, that is a deviation that was requested as part of the PUD for the surfacing. So that will be either mulch or some type of other paving surface. That was also approved as well. So we'll make sure we clarify that better in the application. And then the civic space, we are still discussing the public aspect of that. So we'll continue to work with that, work with Rosanna on that. But like I said, there are some comments, but we have addressed those, and there's nothing that's of substance that is, we can't address or feel like we can't. So we would request to move forward, and just contingent upon addressing those comments.
Okay, do you have any questions for the applicant? No? I think I have a few here. So Rosanna indicated that there may be some question as it relates to the width of this proposed sidewalks. Can you, did you reduce the width as part of the deviation, or
It doesn't specifically reduce the width, it reduces the surfacing.
just the type of material
But
used?
the goal is we're meandering around trees, and we'll provide obviously interconnectivity, but the deviation speaks to the material.
Okay.
And I'll clarify that in our response to comments later to you.
And just for public information here, that deviation was made in terms of just keeping the site more natural,
Yes.
reducing ISR, those sort of things, right?
Absolutely.
That's the kind of idea behind
Just
it.
the look and the character with saving the trees. I mean, the entire design, you guys heard it in the presentation we did for the conceptual PUD, is centered around the trees. And that was the starting point, is we wanted to locate the trees and design around those trees. So the sidewalks are doing the same thing.
Sure. Now, in terms of the civic use, what sort of civic use I know you're still discussing that,
Yes.
but, so my concern is if we're having a civic use and that access would be for pedestrians on this mulch path, if it's a civic use, I think we would need to be aware of and potentially deliberate in providing ADA access, which probably wouldn't be achievable with a mulch path in those particular areas.
We are discussing like the parking aspect, but the civic use, and we have a community, like a area, lawn gathering area. We also have pedestrian trail network that we're adjacent to the church. They do want to walk through the property as well, which we're agreeable to. And we do have a connection that provides pedestrian access to the bay as well. So we're still discussing
Okay.
the parking component of the civic use, and that's where we stand.
Okay, and just, obviously I understand things are in flux a little bit, but just understand that I do have that concern. If something's gonna be open to the public, I think we need to probably make arrangements to provide some more stable access for folks that maybe can't walk on mulch that easily. In those areas, I think that would be important to consider in terms of your conversation. So,
Thank you.
this is, I don't have anything else. I see a lot of comments, but I understand that they're mostly, clarification, those sort of things. So I do appreciate that. But this is a major development, unless, right, this wasn't a deviation for a minor. You guys are going through the full gamut here, so we do appreciate that. But we're gonna go ahead and open up to public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone in the public with technical comments or concerns? Yes, sir. Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Douglas, and I'm a resident of
Will you spell that for the clerk, please?
JONATHAN, DOUGLAS. And I'm a resident at 86 Fig Court, which is in Point Washington. I'm also on the Historic Point Washington Board. I'm board president of Eden Gardens, State Park. And I'd just like to say that we're not supportive of this project because of the traffic impacts along Eden Drive. And we walk twice a day with our dogs down to the bay from our house, which is to the south of Eden Drive. And along that blind curve, it's almost impossible to see pedestrians walking along there. And with the increased traffic, we believe that's going to be a very unsafe situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up, sir. Thank you.
First time here, I don't know what the rules are.
Just give your name and spell it for the clerk, please.
Clay Lowry, W-R-Y.
And then the only other rule is just be respectful.
Yes, sir. I'm a homeowner in Point Washington. We did not receive any notice of this development. I checked with my neighbors. They did not receive any notice of this development. I live less than half a mile of that dirt road. The infrastructure does not support 47 lots and the traffic that it will bring, period. Dog Hobble Lane comes out at Eden Drive at what we call Dead Man's Curve. It's a blind curve, as this gentleman just said. Several accidents have happened there, including a truck losing control and flipping over right in front of Dog Hobble Lane. The road was blocked.
Sir, I'm sorry, and I'll give you your time. I just have a question. I just want to make sure I'm orienting myself. So you said the corner of Eden and Adams, is that the curve that you guys are concerned
Absolutely.
about? Okay.
We call it Dead Man's Curve. You can't see coming and going.
Have people
on that
died
curve.
there?
What's that?
Have people died there?
I don't know that. I just know the accident that I personally saw.
Okay. I
I was right behind it.
perfect. Okay.
But y'all might need to check your records on that to see who has been hurt on that curve over the last many years, because that's a concern
Understood.
that we all have.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, we were stuck there behind that accident for hours on Eden Road. That makes that Dog Hobble Lane a failed intersection. There are, except for the little sidewalk right in front of that, which leads to nowhere, there's no sidewalks from Highway 98 down Highway 395, all around Eden Drive and all around that community. So that means, as this gentleman said, all the bike riders, all the runners, all the people walking their dogs, kids on scooters, all ride down the center of those roads. There's no sidewalks. They all ride around what we call Dead Man's Curve. It's a major safety hazard. The traffic problems. Everybody knows there's two schools there. There's Bay Elementary, there's Montessori School. They're coming and going every day with their little kids. There's two churches, Point Washington Methodist and Lighthouse Church. They come and go for their activities with their families and their little kids. There's Point Washington Dock Put-In for all the boats. The families come there all week, and during the weekends, they line those trailers up from the boat launch all the way back to the church with families and kids. As y'all already know, y'all have approved other subdivisions in this area. You approved Eden's Landing. You approved Oak Grove. You approved Audubon Point. You approved the Shoals. All our infrastructure does not support any more development in this kind of traffic. I'm requesting that you reduce the lot numbers by 50%. So less of those trees he's talking about will be cut down. Under the current zero lot line, a majority of those hundreds of trees in that 20 acres will be cut down. That's an environmental hazard. It's a disaster. Because of all the traffic problems and the safety problems and this environmental issue, this impacts not only just our little neighborhood, but the whole community. And of course, it impacts our property values. The last point I'll make on that was when you drive into that subdivision, there's a sign. It says Historic Point Washington. It says, welcome to Historic Point Washington. If you do this development, we're gonna have to cut that frickin' sign down. It's ridiculous. All I'm asking you, please, do not ruin Historic Point Washington with this overdevelopment. And I do have a question.
Okay.
I don't see anywhere where this is a planned community. I just see lots. That's all I see. And what I'm hearing on the street is, from other people, is that they're going to put the lots in, sell the lots, and you get to build whatever heck you want on there. I like to figure out what the heck's going on there. I mean, if it's a free-for-all, that's going to have a negative impact on that subdivision as well. like to throw that out there for y'all's discussion. Thank you.
Sir, were you involved with the neighborhood planning effort at all?
No, nobody sent us any notice about
Not,
anything.
not this development, I mean, the neighborhood plan for Point Washington. Were you involved in that effort?
I moved in 12 years ago. All I know is I moved in, bought a nice house in a wonderful neighborhood. That's all I know.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Okay, yeah, I'm sure you'd like to address some of those comments. Please come up.
Thank you. I'd like to touch on a few of the comments that were raised there. And
Mr. Brown. All right.
we, as you know, we met with the community in the neighborhood and had a community meeting, as well as, you know, this area for, I think it took about 2 years for the community to develop a neighborhood plan. So we are meeting the majority of the requirements of that neighborhood plan, even though we're no longer a part of the neighborhood plan. So I did want to make that point, that the community worked very hard to plan out their neighborhood and specifically what this property can and can't do. And based on the Walton County Land Development Code and the current zoning, this property could develop up to 30 units per acre. Based on the neighborhood plan, it's allowed up to 20 units an acre. We're proposing as part of our development 2.2 units an acre, which I know the gentleman asked for a 50% reduction. We already have an 89% reduction of what could be allowed on this property based on the vision and the plan of the neighborhood as part of the neighborhood plan. So I did want to make that point. And then also, we've been coordinating as we committed with the community in our neighborhood community meeting with Public Works. And Public Works has a proposed project for County Road 395, and that's to add a multi-use path all the way along County Road 395 north, all the way to the boat launch. And they're also proposing additional stop signs at 2 of the intersections, one of those being Edens Drive, as well as our plan, which I know, Andrew, you reviewed. We're proposing a stop sign where Dog Hobble connects to Edens just to help with the safety of the curve, just to slow traffic, because we've watched it. People come off 395 and just turn on Edens, and it's kind of a Y, so they continue their rate of speed, but there'll be a stop sign now the county's putting in at Edens and 395, and then we'll have the stop sign at Dog Hobble just to help with the safety of the curve. So, well, we'll have one on Edens. There's a stop sign at Dog Hobble, but there'll be one on Edens there too. So, and then we had the rumble strips proposed just for safety and notification for the drivers. So I did want to point out, I mean, there is traffic, but we want to do our part to help calm the traffic and obviously make it safer as we committed to the community, you know, in our community meeting. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
In terms of traffic generation, speak on that a little bit. How many peak PM trips are we producing with the proposed development?
I don't have the analysis in front of me, but generally it's going to be, it's 47, and it's typically about 10 average daily trips per household, which would be 470. But PM peak hour, which is what the county requires, is typically 10% of that. So if you do the math there, what's 10% of 470 would be, what, 47? It'd be 47 trips in the PM peak hour. That's general numbers there.
And the gentleman indicated there's a couple of schools and some churches in the area. I'm assuming probably within walking distance, so that may pull some of that capture. I don't know the technical term for that in terms of creating trips. But to the gentleman's point, I think he believes it's going to create some additional pedestrian traffic, which will have to be mitigated in his mind.
Well, the pedestrian traffic now will be able to use the county's new multi-use path
Right.
that will then connect to the sidewalk that's on Eden, so there will be pedestrian opportunities. He's absolutely correct. Currently, it's not there.
Yeah.
But the county's intent, I talked to Chance Powell, is they're starting the improvement this fall. So the community will see that improvement with the multi-use path take place, and then obviously that'll come before, you know, when we're there. So all the pedestrians will have an opportunity to use a multi-use path.
Yeah, understood. Okay. Any follow-up questions for the applicant here? No. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosanna, do you have a recommendation for us?
Yes, the staff did speak to the applicant about continuing for at least 2 weeks. That way we'll already have the first hearing for the ordinance and allow the applicant time to resubmit some additional information. So that would bring it to November 5th to ERC.
Okay. And that's really just based on the number of comments here and creating that buffer between the conceptual PUD application?
Yes, just provided more detail in the application moving forward, just so we can look at that prior to scheduling the future meetings.
Okay, understood. Thank you for the recommendation. And just to put it out there, just to approach some of your concerns, sir, I just want to be clear that the Technical Review Committee does not have the ability to require a developer to reduce their density by half. We just don't. It would create a lot of liability for this board and the county in general. It would create a very real opportunity for a Burt Harris claim, which is a taking claim essentially, where we would say, hey, you're entitled to this many units, but sorry, you can't do that, right? So I hope that you can accept the process, and who knows, at the end of this thing, maybe you'll be happier about it. But currently, I will entertain a motion to continue the project as presented until the November 5th Technical Review Committee meeting.
Motion to continue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, this second was, yes, thank you. All right, Tucker Bayou detailed PUD will be heard again at this location on November 5th. That brings us to item number 7, Alice Beach lots T11 through T13, lots P14 through P16.
Good morning. This is a minor development order application submitted by Interlight Engineering requesting approval to develop 6 single-family lots and associated infrastructure within blocks P and T of the Alice Beach PUD on 0.82 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of traditional neighborhood development. Property is located in District 5 on the north side of 30A. So there's outstanding comments from planning and public works engineering. As of the date of the report, we did not receive anything from fire, health department, or environmental. With that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered.
My comments are minor. I don't know if Andrea considers their comments minor or not.
Okay, any questions, comments for staff? All right, thank you, Tim.
Hey, good morning again. I'm David Smith with Interlight Engineering, and I'm representing the applicant. And we do agree the comments are very minor. No, Andrea, yours are just like more clarification comments. And this is 6 lots that's being proposed within Alice Beach, and the infrastructure is already constructed around the 6 lots. So all the infrastructure is in, and we'll easily have the comments addressed. So we would respectfully request to move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions, comments for applicant? No? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it doesn't look like there's anyone else in the public, but just for the sake of doing it, anybody in the public wishing to make technical comments, questions, or concerns? All right, seeing none. Thank you. Tim, what's your recommendation?
Yeah, since these comments are minor, my recommendation is to approve it and move it forward to the director to issue the development order once all outstanding comments have been resolved.
Thank you, Tim. Sammy, hold on. Sorry, I just want to make sure I don't see South Walton Fire comments in there. You get any concerns on this one? Okay. Okay, and I see that we don't have environmental comments either, but this really just looks to be an impacted portion of the site. I don't see how there's going to be any real environmental concerns other than some minor potentially buffer comments or something that couldn't be addressed outside of this meeting. So I will ask for a motion to Tim's recommendation, please. Did you already made it?
I did.
Okay,
So moved.
how about a second? Yeah, thank you. Did we get a second?
Yeah, second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will conditionally approve Alice Beach's lots are conditionally approved to move forward pending successful address of all outstanding comments. And now we are on lot 21, SWCP Phase 2.
South Walton Commerce Park. This is a minor development order application submitted by JP Engineering requesting approval to develop 6,350 square feet of office and 3,700 square feet of warehouse space and associated infrastructure on 1.16 acres with the future land use of and zoning of Bay Walton Sector Plan Village Center. Property is located in District 5 in Phase 2 of the Commerce Park. This one, we've got outstanding comments from Planning and Public Works Engineering. We did not receive comments from Fire, Health Department, Environmental, and because of the government shutdown, Eglin Air Force Base. So with that, I'd like to enter the staff report into the record, please.
So entered. Typically, Eglin does not make comments on entitled developments, but I do appreciate you bringing that up.
He sent out an email saying that we wouldn't be receiving anything from them during the shutdown.
Understood.
My comments are minor except for they do need 2 additional parking spaces. They're showing 26. They need 28. That's really the only comment I have.
Okay. Any questions, comments for staff? No? All right, thank you, Tim.
Hello, Matthew Parker, P-A-R-K-E-R, JP Engineering, representing the owner.
Morning.
Good morning. Adding the extra 2 parking spaces is no problem. On the rear, where we have those parallel spaces, we had oversized spaces. They were 30 feet long. The requirement is 23, so we can restripe that, pick up 2 parking spaces, no problem. We've actually already addressed all of the comments in-house and ready to turn back in, and so it's not any kind of significant change to impervious area or stormwater runoff or anything like that to accommodate the additional 2 parking spaces. So we feel like all the other comments are really minor, some notations and things like that, and we can get it turned back in hopefully this week if we get our landscape plan back. So we would respectfully request to be approved conditionally to address these comments and move to development order.
Understood. Any questions, comments for the applicant? No? I have one, just looking at the site, and you know, the code, I don't believe speaks to location of loading zone. But I suspect having the loading zone at that location on that corner could serve to create some vehicular conflict. I don't know if you can consider maybe shifting that a little south just to get it away from the corner. I'll leave that up entirely to you all. It is a private road and probably only going to be accessed by delivery trucks. But again, it looks like it might cause an issue. So
yes, sir. We'll take a look. We ran some auto turn analysis through there, yep, and everything worked well. And we, you know, the typical deliveries here are box truck type deliveries. So it's fairly small delivery trucks.
Sure.
But we can take a look at that.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, thank you. Tim, you have a recommendation for us?
Do you have any issues with this, Sammy? Sure.
I'd like to see the auto turn analysis that were conducted.
If he doesn't have any issues, then the rest of the comments are minor, so my recommendation would be to approve it and move it forward to the developer to issue the development order once all outstanding comments have been resolved.
Okay, thank you. DOH, any concerns there? No? Okay. Let's see, this also looks like certainly a previously impacted site. I suspect any Any environmental concerns will be minor, if any, and could be addressed outside of this meeting. Again, I don't see any new public folks in here, so I'm going to assume there's no technical comments from the public, and I'm just going to ask for a motion,
Motion to approve.
to conditionally approve.
Conditionally, yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. This project is conditionally approved to move forward to DO issuance pending successful address of all outstanding comments, including Sammy's concern with the auto turn. Yeah, thank you. Okay, that brings us to item number 9, USPS Facility Phase 2.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, so item number 9, this is a request to approve by development order, project number MIN 25-000130. This is a minor development order application submitted by Emerald Coast Associates Engineering, LLC, on behalf of 393 /USPS LLC. This is requesting to develop 10,400 square feet shopping center with associated infrastructure on 4.94 plus or minus acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning category of coastal center. The property is located in District 5 at 33 Church Hill Bayou Road and can be identified by the parcel number in your staff report. May I enter the staff report into the record?
So enter.
Okay. So, I will point out before I continue speaking that the proposed development area, even though the overall site is 4.95 acres, the proposed development area is 2.28 acres. So just keep that in mind.
Is that due to some wetlands on the, on the west side of the site? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yes, on the west side, yes, but prior to this project, there was a phase 1 specifically for the USPS facility that's existing on the east side of the parcel.
Okay.
So I'm pointing that out in terms of the staff report. There's the overall site plan that was previously approved for the 4.95 acres.
Okay.
And then for this particular project, they're proposing to impact 2.28 acres of that.
Of the total site.
Of the total site.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay, sorry if that was a little bit confusing.
It's early, and I'm easily confused, so.
Okay, so there are pending technical reviews from Environmental and South Walton Fire District. From Water and Sewer, Regional Utilities is going to be providing that. There's one site access point. And let's see, regarding traffic, for our transportation folks, let's see, it says that phase 2, which is what they're proposing today, is going to be anticipated to generate 40 new trips. I don't see any other adverse impacts beyond that. Regarding wetland impact, I'm going to give the applicant an opportunity to address that specifically. In the staff report, the impacted area is missing. I was just struggling a little bit on the math on their site data table, so if they can confirm that so I can enter it into the staff report, that would be great. Flood zone is flood zone AE. Base flood elevation, 7 feet. In terms of the proposed density for the 2.28 acre site, they are compliant with the proposed intensity or the impervious surface ratio area. And so far, we haven't received any public comments for the project. So if you don't have any questions for me, I'll defer to the applicant.
Okay, any questions for staff? All right, thank you, Ayanna.
Good morning, Dean Burgess with Emerald Coast Associates. We have received, the planning and engineering and right-of-way comments. We have responded to those, and we're waiting, holding off on submitting until we receive fire and environmental. I'm not anticipating anything of substance from either of those. But we are awaiting those to make sure that we don't have to include those in our responses, but we have responded to the other comments. I think I've had some conversations with Andrea, some of the traffic questions and impact to the intersection we discussed, and we've got those resolved, and they will appear in our responses.
Okay.
So I would ask that we, upon receiving fire and environmental comments and proper responses, we move this forward to development order.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, any comments, any questions, concerns?
Yeah, Dean, I'll get you comments, this week, possible. Can you tell me what they're putting in right there?
Sorry, one more
Tell me
time.
what they're developing?
It's going to be it's a spec building, so we don't know who the tenants will be as of yet. So we've parked it at a rate for a shopping center. So it'll be a mixture of tenants in the building.
Our neighbors, right?
They will be your neighbors around the corner. Yes, sir.
All right, just check that.
All right.
So that's the 1 to 200 rate for
Yes,
the
sir.
parking? Okay. My eyes are just getting worse every day. Okay, again, I don't see anyone new from the public, so I'm going to assume there are no public comments or questions. Ayana, what is your recommendation?
Well, before I make a recommendation, I want to follow up on my question regarding wetlands impact.
Yeah, it looks like there's some proposed in there. Is it just up front for the access? Is that the?
Yes, for the access, there's a very small impact to the wetlands. I know it's less than a half an acre, but it may be significantly less than a half an acre. So we would fall under the nationwide permit, but we will have to permit those impacts.
Okay.
And we have included those. You know, of course, you get a 10% impervious ratio on any wetlands that are impacted, and we will clarify that calculation in our site data table.
And Dean, that's for the 2.5 acre site development area or for the overall site? The impacted wetlands?
The impacted wetland, well, for the overall and the impacted site, but it works on the
Okay.
smaller site.
Okay.
It works on that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just, Dean, before you sit down, so the large stormwater pond in between the two phases, is that serving both phases?
Yes, and it will be expanded to serve this additional development.
Okay, so initially it wasn't built to handle this, but it will be?
Correct, it will be enlarged.
Okay, perfect.
And it's the same owner for both properties. He's leasing to the post office, and he will be managing this property as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Recommendation?
Oh, right, recommendation. I recommend to conditionally approve this pending completed technical reviews and the applicant addressing all outstanding comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions, comments, concerns? What's a motion?
Motion to approve, pending all outstanding comments are met.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
All right, we, can I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and, we have conditionally approved, this application to move forward to DO issuance pending successful address of all outstanding comments. I'm having trouble wording this morning. Hi,
Hello again.
we are on the Holiday Inn Express Hotel, item number 10.
Yes. This is a request to approve by final order, project number MHA 25000053. This is a major development application submitted by Nautilus Civil Engineers on behalf of Sunrise 850 LLC, requesting to develop a hotel with 104 rooms on 2.57 plus or minus acres. The project site has a future land use of mixed use and a zoning category of village mixed use. The property is in District 5, located on the north side of US Highway 98 West, approximately 0.195 miles east of Don Bishop Road and approximately 0.249 miles west of intersection US Highway 98, west crossover and Musset Bayou, and is identified by the parcel numbers in your staff report. May I enter the staff report into the record?
So entered.
Okay. So, let's see here. All right, so there are 3 departments where outstanding comments need to be addressed. Regional Utilities is going to be providing water sewer. Transportation. So there's an estimated 52 p.m. peak hour trips. But I'm not seeing here any comments regarding adverse impacts. There are 2 access points on the site. One is a cross-access location to the east side. The wetland impact area is about 0.18 acres. That's consistent with our code. We're in flood zone X. And the proposed intensity is compliant or consistent with our land development code. Let's see. I have not received any public comment thus far. I did receive a letter from the applicant addressing the response to review comments. I haven't had an opportunity to review this yet, so I'm assuming this means that you have already submitted your resubmittal addressing all of the comments. But that's all I have so far. I'm sure the applicant will speak to that a little bit more when they come up here. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for staff? Thank you.
Good morning, Curtis Smith with Nautilus Civil Engineers, SMITH. So I handed those comment responses to Ayana. I did resubmit those late yesterday. And really, in light of the new 2025-177, I know Stephen spoke to you about it briefly, but I'm a little concerned about our timeframes now for these development order reviews. So I went ahead and brought the response to comments in case we actually needed to look at any of them. And I'll hand these over to you guys, as well as the revised site plan.
All right, thank you.
So as I said, I'm just concerned. I mean, the 180-day time period is going to be very difficult for us to hit with DRB and Planning Commission, QJ, and BCC. So I wanted to try to move us along here as long as there's no major issues. I had one extra here. There it is. No. I handed out all my copies, so I'm gonna have to look it up on my phone here.
You want this?
You're probably the only one who needs it.
Well,
So we addressed all the comments. I wasn't aware until last week that Wyatt and Andrew will actually be I suppose be doing all the engineering reviews in-house now. So that's good to know. And of course, Wyatt's a little bit new and reviewer, so there's always a learning period up front of getting to know what we provide and what they're looking for. So I spoke to Wyatt about those and got all of his addressed. in Ayana as well, you know, the first comment response here was regarding parking sizes. This is about the sixth time I've provided this same comment response that, you know, we helped to kind of push that along with Christian Show back in the days to get the ITE reference on parking in the code to take advantage of overhangs, to help reduce impervious surface, to not try to provide too much pavement if you don't actually need it. So provided that same level of information here that speaks to that we're doing an equal or greater module based on how ITE looks at parking standards.
And there is a section in the code that does allow for a reduction in accordance with that manual.
Correct, yes. And as I stated in here, I'm not even looking for a reduction. We're just using the standards the way that they're defined in ITE. Where we need a 20-foot for, so when you have bumper to bumper, face to face, we're providing 20 feet. But when you have the ability to overhang the curb by 2 feet, we'll reduce it as much as down to 18 feet. In this case of this project, we just reduced it to 19 feet.
So would the overhang be where a smaller guardrail would be?
No.
Okay.
No, we always have a minimum of 3 feet in front of that of clear space for where we do the overhangs. And when we overhang a sidewalk, we always widen the sidewalk out as well.
I see that, to 6 feet, to capture that.
Yeah, most of the time we'll do 7 or 8, but when we have to deal with the foundation planter thing, sometimes we have to reduce that, and so we get a minimum of 3 to 4 feet walkway for overhangs. So, give that. The only other comment that, I also provided one for Ayana regarding the landscape buffer. Tim and I actually went over this years ago on Los Rancheros. We both misinterpreted that commercial next to multifamily residential needed the buffer, but that's actually not what the code said. It was commercial next to single family only. So we actually amended that DO to remove that required buffer yard. In the case of this, I just am not calling it a required buffer yard. However, we have between 35 to 60 feet of natural vegetation there. So there is technically a buffer there. I'm just not calling it a required buffer yard.
And that is between this use and?
There's a multifamily to the north.
Okay.
It's also VMU zoning. And the last one that I want to make a note of that was an environmental comment. And I've not had this particular comment come up in this format before, but what he says, the foundation plantings need to be on the south side of the building as well. So the way that the code reads is that the foundation planter shall comprise a minimum of 50% of the facade length. A deviation alternative may be considered. So we looked at the entire facade length required, which is the south side and the east side of this building, and made sure that we had the 50%. I did not put any of the facade plantings on the south side, and there's a very specific reason for that. We do have more than 50% planter length, but it's all on the east side. The reason it's not on the south side is we had meetings with Public Works very early on with this project about maybe not cross-connecting to the west. Because of the wetlands in the back, we didn't want to push this site north into those wetlands further. After several back and forths, we kind of agreed that we probably didn't have to, but we did get the owner to kind of say, okay, let's go ahead and do it. We'll do it with a 20-foot access road, so the bare minimum, and a 5-foot sidewalk adjacent to the building so that you still can walk there, but it's very tight. So I don't have room to shift that another 5 feet without impacting wetlands or getting down into the 25-foot scenic corridor buffer. So we're just squeezed really hard on this site to not impact wetlands and also preserve the 25-foot corridor buffer.
So the way that I think I've always interpreted the facade was each facade was required to have that 50%. Now
it doesn't say that in the code, and that's an interpretation thing.
Yeah. So what I'd ask is just that you request that alternative landscape design that allows you to do that, and for me to review it. So include that background information for me, so I can consider everything.
Okay. So that was really the only thing, and that is, that's a deal breaker here because we have to impact wetlands to add something back. We want the sidewalk to connect because we want people to walk from Don Pedro's to the hotel and back and forth, you know.
With the buffer right there, I mean, I don't foresee it being an issue,
Yeah.
but let's just go through the proper process there.
Of course, we still have the entire 25-foot
That's right.
scenic corridor buffer right there beside it, so it's a little silly for that to even be there to begin with. But that was it. So everything else was addressed. I don't foresee we're going to have any other issues with this. We still have a long way to go with DRB, PC, QJ, and BCC. And then we'll have some FDOT permitting on a new turn lane as well.
Okay.
FDOT has told us in recent years, they don't want us to actually submit to them until development orders are through. They don't want us to be way ahead of when construction is actually going to begin. So we usually provide those to Jacob kind of after the DO and before construction.
So how does that, I mean, how often do you all get to the finish line there and then FDOT's like, well, we don't want it here in those cases? I mean, is that an issue?
We cover it in pre-app meetings with them. So we've had two
Okay.
meetings with them on this already.
Okay.
And they're good with the location and everything. They just don't want to issue a permit because their permits expire fairly quickly. And pretty much every project we've had on 98, we've had to extend the permits because they're not built by the time they get to actually building the turn lane.
Understood. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? No? All right. Thank you. Again, I'm not going to open this up unless one of the other developers or engineers want to say something about this project. Nope. Didn't think so. All right. What are your thoughts? This is kind of a big project. Are you all feeling good about it? And Sammy, have you issued comments on this one? Oh, yeah. Yeah? You're good? Okay. Public Works, Engineering, y'all are, I know there's quite a few, but it sounds like.
I think they can be clarified.
Okay. Okay. Ayana? Recommendation, please?
I do want to point out as food for thought, before we make a recommendation, that we did receive this yesterday. So do we feel comfortable making a decision on this when we haven't had at least 24 hours to review?
What do you mean received this, the resubmittal yesterday?
Yes, the response to comments. I think it would be premature of me to make a recommendation, at least from the planning perspective, when I haven't had time to review this response to comment letter.
Okay, understood.
But if, again, the final decision rests on you, if you want to keep this moving forward, then I will move it forward, but with a conditional approval pending addressing all outstanding comments, because I understand where the applicant's coming from regarding the timeline. But I also think it would be premature to make a recommendation on the spot when we just received this yesterday.
Understood. Thank you. So just for the record, even though I don't think I need to say this for anyone in the room, we do have an additional statutory burden in terms of our timeline for review and approval or denial of these projects. So there is a renewed or new consideration that I think we all must be mindful of, that we are limited in our ability and preempted by the state in some of our review timelines. So that is weighing heavily on my mind currently, but I also respect Diana's position and knowing that she wants to do her best job in reviewing this resubmittal. And I respect her decision not to issue a recommendation. So what I'm going to ask is that the committee here make a motion to whatever recommendation they see fit at this time, having the ability to look at the responses here and taking the applicant's testimony. I guess it's not actual testimony, but so what do you guys want to do?
I'm going to make a motion to continue.
Okay. To when?
ARC.
Okay.
What, November 5th?
November 5th would be the next one, yes. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, what we'll go ahead and do is continue this to the November 5 meeting, Ayana. Assuming that this will be a clean project, let's go ahead and schedule it for Planning Commission in November. Actually, no, we need to go to DRB. What day is DRB in November? All right, let's get it scheduled for DRB. Let's not hold this up.
Mind if I just say one more thing just for other members, because you and I spoke about this, and really our concern is that 180-day time period. We've got 1 month for initial review. The second month is the TRC month, DRB month, Planning Commission month, QJ month, BCC month. That is 180 days, bare minimum time frame. And what that new statute says, for anybody that hadn't read it, is the county must refund all the application fees if they can't meet the deadlines. Half of them have to be refunded in 30 days after 180, the remaining half if it's not 30 days after the 180. That's a huge burden, for the county to even have to consider. It's hard because we're in the process too. We get certain amount of time frames to resubmit, but we've always talked about this particular meeting, TRC. This is not something anyone else does. It's only a Walton County thing. I've been all over the country, and this is the only place we ever come to a public meeting for technical review. So that's why I like for us to move these forward. We'll handle all this stuff as we do everywhere else in the country outside of the public meeting setting, and then before we go to DRB, Planning Commission, all the other ones. So just moving forward, I hope we can get to that point so that we can, move these along. Appreciate it.
I agree. Thank you. All right. That brings us to item number 11, the North Beach Warehouse.
All right, final item. North Beach Warehouse. This is also a request to approve by development order MIN 25000128. This is a minor development order submitted by Jenkins Engineering on behalf of Highway 331 South LLC, requesting to develop an 18,000 square foot warehouse facility with associated infrastructure on 2.43 plus or minus acres, with the future land use of industrial and extractive uses and a zoning of light industrial. Property is located in District 5 at 24453 South US Highway 331 and can be identified by the parcel number in your staff report. May I enter the staff report into the record?
So entered.
Also, for this one, let's see. Okay, we are pending staff comments from planning. We did receive a resubmittal from the applicant, I believe it was yesterday. Haven't had an opportunity to review that documentation yet. Let's see here. From a transportation, that review states that there is a de minimis impact on the roadways and intersections. There's one access point to the site from Highway 331. The proposed impervious surface area or intensity is consistent with our requirements. There's zero impact to the wetlands, and the flood zone is in Zone X and unnumbered Zone A, or unnumbered A zone, rather. And I have not received any public comments thus far. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for staff? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Scott Jenkins with Jenkins Engineering, Jenkins. I'm here representing the applicant. I'm last, so I don't know how that happened, but here we are. But anyway, I think Ayana did a good job explaining the project. It is just a warehouse project that's located on the existing parcel that's currently used as kind of a transit stop for employees in South Walton. So it's the old seaside kind of parking transit area over there. So it's a previously developed and cleared site. We do not have any impacts to any wetlands. We don't have any, we have an existing driveway there already that we are converting. We're going through DOT process currently to do an upgrade to that. We did address all the comments that we've received so far and did a resubmittal. They were very minor comments, I feel like, and I feel like we've addressed them accordingly. And we just ask that, we move forward. We do have to go to DRB for this, so we'd like to be scheduled for that meeting as soon as possible, and happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
Any questions for the applicant?
Thank you.
Thank you. Ayana, have you, I see that your comments aren't included here. Have you had any opportunity to look at this? Do you have any concerns? It looks like a pretty cut and dry.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I will make time today to review it, but the final recommendation will depend on this board if I should move it forward to scheduling it for the next hearing.
Yeah, I think what I'll do is, based on the fact that you haven't had comments, I'm going to ask the committee here to make a recommendation based on the application here, understanding that you haven't had an opportunity, but also understanding that you will have an opportunity to review before this is approved, of course.
Yeah.
Committee, what are your thoughts? Do you have any questions, comments, concerns? Of course.
Yeah. For the record, my name's Lloyd Blue. Excuse me. I am the manager of the the company that's making the application. Just wanted to say that I certainly I'm going to have to get some water.
Yeah, get some water. Absolutely.
At this microphone, that's the first time that's happened to me. My apologies. Anyway, I certainly understand staff wanting to take a look at it. I just wanted to say that this is a site that was a former C&D transfer station that we went to great lengths to restore. We have worked very closely with the neighborhood, and we have gigantic trees that we are protecting in a berm along the road. The only thing that you'll be able to see is right at the driveway. We, the suggestion of the planning department, we've already been to TRC to get conceptual guidance and approval, and have followed all recommendations that we received for them. We're not impacting any impacts. The adjoining properties that didn't already have protective landscaping, we've already installed it in conjunction with the neighborhood and the adjoining property owners. And there is one entrance off of 331, but we have put in another road through the DOT holding pond. At the request of the neighborhood, we acquired additional property so that that road could not enter the neighborhood and impact the neighborhood. And we also screened that off as well as screening off the rest of the neighborhood already for coverage. So I would hope that y'all would let us go ahead and go back to TRC and move us forward. I've been involved in over 100 projects in the last 45 years here, and this one is about as minor an impact and about as well-suited with the neighborhood and put in a good spot as I've ever been able to do. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
I think similar with the last project that had to go to the DRB, they can still make that time frame. So I'm gonna make
Okay. We need a second.
Second.
Okay. Ayanna, again, please go ahead. Just considering our timeframes, let's go ahead and get it scheduled for DRB and well, it's a minor, so it doesn't need planning commission. But yeah, let's keep this moving. It certainly looks like a cut and dry development here. I see all the necessary components of the site, so. Yeah, Ayanna, let's do our best to get them out this week. I understand that you're loaded just like everyone, but let's do our best.
I know there were some additional stormwater comments. Have those been addressed? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, specifically the DRB.
Are you doing the DRB application as well? Okay. Yeah, well, obviously I can't give you any strict timelines here, but we're gonna do our best. Get them to you as quickly as we can. Okay, did we vote on that one? Nope. No, just two motions to move it to the November 5th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, this will be heard again November 5th. Hopefully we'll have a clean project and we can move it forward expeditiously after that.
But it is getting good.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, that is the end of our agenda. Can I have a motion to that, to end the meeting here, to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, adjourned. Thank you.